Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at both wagertalk.com and sportsmemo.com, when all daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including 5% best bets, normally priced at $35. As an added bonus, any picks packages loaded early for Overnight Tuesday or action during the week will also be priced at $9 until midnight on Monday. So make sure to take advantage of getting these $25 and $35 picks for only $9 before the clock strikes 12 and they return to regular price.
Welcome on in to Asian Baseball today. The Monday edition is here. We're your perfect appetizer to Monday Night Football. We'll get you some winners that go early on in the morning that could make you forget about those losers you had on Monday Night Football. So let's bring in the guys. I got Tokyo Brandon with me. I got Adam Trigger, and Tokyo Brandon was saying before we came on, might have two of the hottest cappers on the site with me today, and he's not lying. We got a 13-3 run for Tokyo Brandon, 6-1 over the weekend for Trig in football alone. And when you look at his all sports run, just a respectable 9-1 run. So he's not lying. I got two hot guys with me, and we are ready to talk some baseball. Trig, I'll start with you. You want to keep that streak on moving? You have anything loaded for $9 Monday here on Wager Talk?
I do, Dan, and the other three were in KBO. So I want to point that out. The other three wins this weekend were all KBO plays. Swept the weekend 3-0. And it's nice after like 3 or 4 weeks of kind of like breaking even in KBO to get a nice little sweep there. That's what I have up right now for $9 Monday. It's a KBO play that 4% play goes in the morning. And also a really good special up on my full football season. So you get NCAA and NFL. I went 6-1 in football this past weekend. And it's a $200 discount for my full football season. So that's a great deal up right now. No MLB for me tonight. So my next one will be tomorrow morning in the KBO. And I've got a couple of very strong opinions on games that I'm going to give out on the show.
Love it, and we'll be getting into that. If you're just joining us for the first time, we always start with a kind of rundown, then we talk some games, get you some free plays all along the way. I'm shocked our producer, Robert, didn't hit me with the buzzer right there at the top when I said I got two hot guys with me. Like that, I should have gotten the buzzer on my ass right away. But, hey, I guess you guys are welcome. Compliments here at the top. Looking good, feeling good. Brandon, I mentioned 13-3 Asian baseball run. And you have a play you're excited about tonight. Tell the folks about it. And, of course, Brandon, how you doing, my man?
Pretty good. This song's dedicated to you, Dan. It's raining men. Hallelujah, it's raining men. There, I got the buzz. Okay. Yeah, I'm on a 6-0 run in the KBO. So KBO's running hot. I'm on a 13-3 overall run. So running pretty hot right now, and I do have a 5% play out today. And that 5% play, I'm going to level with you. It's a bit juicy. So just to, give a little back to the people. If you buy my 5% play today for $9, if it loses, I guarantee I'll give you my next 5% for free because it's a little juicy. But I think it's going to get there, and it's in the KBO. I've won 70% of my 5% plays. I'm winning 60% of my KBO plays, and I'm on a 6-0 run. So I'm pretty confident it's going to cash. But if it doesn't, I will give you the next one for free.
Man, making promises like that, you should, if handicapping doesn't work out, run for office. I mean, just hey, I'll give you it for free.
Hey, I already contacted Missy in the front office, and I said, keep a list of everyone who buys my play today, because if it loses, I am going to give to the people.
Trig and I are sold. All right, let's do it. Let's get into it, boys. Let's start with the standings update here. SSG, man. My team not looking all that great. Just 3 wins in their last 10, reiterating what we talked about on our Thursday show. We got 6 straight wins for NC you see up there. So I'm sure kind of theme of the show is going to be, can they make that push for that 5 spot? Because again, those top 5 teams are who we'll be seeing coming up in the playoffs. And Trig, that's where I want to start with you here today. People can see the standings there, and you're kind of going to break it down a little bit more of what you're seeing. The movers, the shakers, the buyers, the sellers, the KBO playoff picture. Trig, what are you thinking as we're rolling through September?
Yeah, Dan, so I figured this is a good way to start each show now that we're going to go down to 1 show a week just on Monday. Really just kind of set the table for what you're going to see. And I got some good feedback on this on Thursday. So let's go bottom to top again like we did on Thursday. Starting at the bottom, I still think Doosan has mailed it in. They're completely out of it, and they're a team that's been either in the final, they've won the thing, they've been in the playoffs the last handful of years. So sitting down there at 50-69, 3-7 their last 10. They're just, I don't think you're going to see much of an effort from them the rest of the way. Hanwha is still the worst team. They might come to play occasionally, but they just are not at the same caliber as pretty much any other team in the league. Samsung and Lotte, 2 teams with similar records that are not similar right now. Lotte pretty much got crushed over the weekend. Getting swept by NC, they're all but out of it now. It's hard to see Lotte sort of getting off the mat at this point, and playing their way back into it. And, I would have said the same thing about Samsung. They're the same sort of 7.5 games back. But, Dan, this team just keeps winning, and I'm not quite sure why. I'll talk about that later in the show as well. The NC Dinos, 6 wins in a row. Finally, we have a team that stepped up to threaten the Kia Tigers, who, as I said in this segment about 10 days ago, I said I'd be shocked if this team plays better than 500 ball. And guys, sure enough, they're 500 over the last couple weeks, consistently losing games as a favorite. So, in my opinion, Kia is still probably a decent fade the rest of the way. And then the last time we did this, the top 4, I said I wouldn't be surprised if KT catches Kiwoom and LG catches SSG. I think since the last time we did this, LG has made up a game. KT's still right around the same, spot where they were. And I still think that. I still really think that we might see SSG run down, we might see LG run down SSG in the standings. And I'm certain that the KT Wiz are going to finish third. So that's kind of what I'm seeing coming into the week. We're going to touch on all these things as the show goes on. But again, that's just sort of how I see it shaking out right now. And, hopefully you can use that to your benefit over the next sort of 6 days, because there are some teams that have a lot to play for, teams like Doosan with nothing to play for, and a team like Lotte where I just don't see them recovering from this weekend.
Yeah, and hop in the comments, whether you agree, whether you disagree. We would love to see you, whether you're watching live or watching on the replay. Let us know what you think about this playoff picture. And as Trig alluded to there, as we're kind of going to be dialing back here and only doing 1 show a week, we would love to hear suggestions on what you guys and gals who are viewing want to hear. What do you want to see updated as we head on into this playoff stretch so we can make the most of the time that we have here with you live Dan, on Wager Talk TV. Go ahead.
I want to add one more thing. So a couple weeks from now, we're going to be in the playoffs. And the way the playoffs work in this league, I've talked about it before, it's a ladder format, but the games all stand alone, meaning that it's 1 game at a time. No one plays simultaneous games in this league. So it's literally like, you might have the best of 3 series coming up, and we'll basically be able to preview the whole thing. That's why I think what we'll start to do at the beginning is sort of like give you the roadmap, hopefully, for each series.
That's Adam Trigger, fresh off of a 5% winner with the Cleveland Browns yesterday. You can grab his NFL package with $200 off. Check it out under the deals tab. Also running hot is my guy, Tokyo Brandon, 13-3 on Asian baseball. He's got a 5%er loaded for just $9, and he gave you a campaign promise that you just can't beat. He'll remind you about it when we talk our best bets. But Brandon, let's get into some of these how these sausages made series that I love with you so much here at the top, where you wanted to talk a little bit of game totals, but matchup-specific game totals. So, Brandon, I know the graphics department working overtime on this graphic you have. Floor is yours, my brother.
Hot dogs? Those are just, you know what hot dogs are made of? Lips and butts. What movie is that from? Anyways, before you put the graphic up, I want to add to what Adam just said. Doosan, there's a difference between Doosan and Hanwha right now because they're both playing terrible. But the difference is, like, if we want to make an NFL comparison, Doosan would be like the Patriots. They're used to winning, they're used to being great, and suddenly they suck. So how does a team that's used to being great, how do they respond to the adversity? And then you got Hanwha, who's basically like the Detroit Lions. They suck every year. They expect to suck every year. And sorry, Johnny, but they do. And so, the team that expects to be bad and is playing bad, they're going to try a lot harder. Like Hanwha's trying hard. If you watch them day in and day out, they're actually trying. They're really I hate the word scrappy, but they are. Whereas Doosan is just lifeless, listless, and flaccid. So I expect the Patriots to be like that this season as well. Anyways, off the NFL and back to throw my graphic up, please. Thank you. Wow, that was fast. No barking today. Nice. So basically, this is how teams we're getting towards the end of the season, and so these numbers really mean a lot. These teams. This is how they match up. You see on the right-hand side there, 9.1. That's the average score in every game played in the KBO this season, 9.1. At the beginning of the season, it was like 7.7, really low, and it's gotten back to its median now. So how do these teams match up in the next 2-3 days? This is how they match up. So NC Samsung, pretty high scores there, mostly due to the fact that neither team has a very good bullpen, and NC is scoring like crazy right now. Both of these teams have, heavy hitters, a couple of heavy hitters in the lineup. And then Kia Kiwoom, which is kind of surprising to me that Kia and Kiwoom have such a high score, because Kiwoom is one of those even keel, mediocre, middle of the road teams, and usually they're right along the median for every stat in every category. So, NC Samsung, maybe expect some high scores. So in the next couple of days, if you see an 8 in an NC Samsung game, you might want to take a shot on the over, because they're averaging 11.5 runs a game in their matchups. And they've matched up at least 11, 12 times. So these numbers do mean something. On the other hand, Lotte SSG, I don't know why that number is lower than the average, because Lotte scores a lot and they have a bad bullpen. So that number to me is kind of I don't know. I would stay away from betting any under in any Lotte game. As we said at the beginning of the season, Lotte is one of those teams when you see a 13-10 game, it's Lotte. So I would stay away from betting any unders in Lotte. But what these numbers show to me is that in NC Samsung, I'm going to keep an eye on the book numbers. And if NC Samsung shows me any 8s or 8.5s, I'll definitely take an over on that. So screenshot that. Those numbers are good for the next 3 or 4 days.
Checking out some game-specific matchup totals there. Appreciate you, Tokyo. Brandon, let's get into our featured game for today. We're looking at Lotte and SSG. 3 straight losses for Lotte, and now they're facing a team who, let's be honest, hasn't been all that great in their last 10 either. However, they are the number 1 team in the league. You see the respect there, minus 165 on the money line. Your take back for Lotte plus 140. And the total in this game, a solid 8. Brandon, I'm going to go right back to you and get your thoughts on this kind of top versus bottom matchup. How are you breaking this one down?
Yes, so actually my best bet at the end of the show is going to be in this game, so I'm not going to give it away at this point yet, but I will talk about the matchup. So we got Wilmer Font for SSG. Wilmer Font, I do my pitcher ratings, my starter pitcher ratings, and out of 98 pitchers, I have Wilmer Font ranked 8. So he's a stud. And Dan Straley's going for Lotte. Dan Straley, when he first came, I think he was in the minor leagues at the beginning of the season in MLB and couldn't quite crack it. So he came back to Korea. He was a stud, before, but I faded him when he came back, and I got burned because he just came right out of the gate, came down running, and he was great out of the gate, and he's been great. So I like to track, how the starting pitchers do against the other team. I also like to track how they've done in their last 3 or 4 starts Wilmer Font against Lotte, he's given up 1-1-0 in his last 3 starts. And in his last 3 starts overall, he had 1 clunker where he gave up 6 runs, but that was against LG, so I'll forgive that because LG is just hitting like a dynamo right now. And in his other 2 starts, he gave up 1 and 2. He's got 154 strikeouts and only 30 walks. So Wilmer Font is a stud. Look at Dan Straley. He's only played SSG 1 time. He's given up 2 runs. In his last 3 starts, he's 2-2 and 2 runs, 2 runs, 3 runs. And he's got 31 Ks and 12 walks. So the way I see this, both teams are hitting quite well. SSG's hitting a little better than Lotte right now. So I will save my best bet for the end of the show, but that's my breakdown of the game. And then the next step to that is giving you my play at the end of the show.
Expertise right there. You'll find out at the end of the show what is the official bet for Tokyo. Brandon, you can hop in the comments and let us know what you think about our featured game. Let's get Trig's thoughts on this one, though. SSG, the decent favorite. You think it's worth it? Maybe they're going to be bouncing back, or how are you breaking down this one?
Well, Dan, I have a pretty strong take here. And listen, it's just not my style to give out client plays that are like minus 160, minus 170. I'm not saying it's wrong by any means. I'm just saying it's not my style. With that being said, if SSG was like 40 cents cheaper, it would 1,000% be a best bet for me. And I saw the pitching matchup and I said, you know what? Maybe they'll make a mistake and throw up like a minus 125, minus 130 for SSG. They did not. They priced it correctly. Minus 160, minus 165. With that being said, this is just such a better spot for SSG than it is for Lotte. Lotte over the weekend played NC. It was their season. That series was at home. That was the season for Lotte. They had come in on a loss. They could not afford to lose both of those games. They did. Their season is essentially over. So to have to come back and play the best team in the league here, one of the best, after that weekend, it's just, I don't care that Dan Straley's on the mound. That's just an impossible spot. And listen, Wilmer Font was hurt, okay, for a period of time. So his numbers are probably inflated right now. Since coming back off the IL, 13 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, 10 strikeouts, 1 walk. He looks like himself. I would actually, give him a bump in the ratings right now because some of his numbers are inflated by kind of pitching through injury. Listen, I can't say a bad thing about Dan Straley. I was in the same boat as Tokyo Brandon. He was getting rocked in AAA, Dan. Absolutely rocked. I figured he was going to come over here, be overpriced, an easy fade. He's done he's made 6 starts since coming back. He's 4-0 with a 2.06 ERA and a 1.11 whip. You can't ask for better, but he hasn't been able, he only can go out there every 5th day, and Lotte just hasn't done it. So, even with Dan Straley on the mound here, I just think SSG has way too many other advantages. And guys, we've seen this in seasons past where the top team gets out to a lead, NC in 2020, KT last year, teams close the gap, and now it's time to get down to business in the final week and a half of the regular season. SSG made a statement over the weekend on Sunday. They hammered Hanwha 12-1. I kind of think SSG is going to mean business here going forward. I think, the fact that they've only got a 4-game lead and LG is sitting there as like a minus 300 favorite. So they kind of have to expect LG might win. So the fact that they can feel the pressure, Dan, and I think they're going to be up for the task. I would absolutely play SSG here. If you can stomach laying minus 160, minus 165, I love the spot for SSG.
Music to my ears. It's bounce back time. Let's go on a run of our own, get that 1 seed locked up because it's been getting a little dicey there. Just the 4-game lead they're holding on LG, so maybe feeling the pressure and maybe living up to it. We'll find out with the game going tomorrow morning. Trig, I'm going to go right back your way because I want to talk to NC Dinos. They're playing pretty darn good right now. You could argue maybe hottest team playing right now, 6-game win streak, and they're going to be facing against the Samsung Lions who've kind of been like sneaky good. We don't really talk about them since they're kind of towards the bottom of those standings, but 7-3 in their last 10. So 2 teams playing good baseball right now. How are you breaking this one down?
Oh, Dan, this is easily the most interesting series in my opinion, and there might actually be some spots here. So I'll start with this. Samsung and Lotte have essentially the same record right now, but like while Lotte is basically out of it, listen, like Samsung's been out of it, and they've come out of nowhere to play their way back to like being like 7.5 games back of the wild card. They're not going to catch Kia or NC. They have no chance to catch them, but they've been so far out of it all year that like they're just playing with house money at this point, and they have played extremely well over the past couple weeks. With that being said, now I want to start at. Do you want to get? What do you guys remember the movie? I think it might have been Summer Catch, where they turned all the sprinklers on because they really wanted a rain out. Like that would be NC here. There's a slight threat of rain, but if this game gets rained out, they're going to be able to come back and match up Matthew Dermody with Albert Suarez. So, like, just a programming note here. If this game gets rained out, I would bet NC as soon as the lines come out on Wednesday, because I don't know that the books are going to know that definitely. Because a lot of times the books will throw up a quick line with the pitchers from the day before. But without a doubt, if this game were to get rained out, which there's about a 40-50% chance of rain, NC is going to start Dermody on Wednesday, and it would give them a much better chance to win, in my opinion. As it stands for Tuesday's game, it's going to be a Mingy Song against Albert Suarez. Listen, Mingy Song, he doesn't have great numbers, but NC is not going to expect him to go deep here because they need this game so bad that at the first sign of trouble, they're going to unload the bullpen, and they're going to probably pray that Dermody can go deep on Wednesday because they need this game. They're 4.5 games behind Kia, and they pretty much have to win what's in front of them at this point, in my opinion, to catch Kia for the 5th and final playoff spot. So I think NC is going to have all hands on deck here tomorrow. And if you look at Mingy Song's numbers, he hasn't allowed more than 2 earned runs in his last 5 starts. He doesn't go deep, but he doesn't get killed. And if you want to play for tomorrow's game, as good as Albert Suarez is, I still think I would rather lay some juice with NC plus 1.5 than I would with Samsung on the road. So I slightly lean NC plus 1.5 for tomorrow's game. I don't love it because I would have to lay like minus 145 to get that. But I still just think NC is the superior team here. And if this game is one of the ones that gets canceled, because there is quite a bit of rain in the forecast for tomorrow, if this game gets canceled, I'm telling you, they're going to come back with Dermody on Wednesday. It's going to be Dermody versus Suarez. And Dermody looked awesome finally in his last start. 5 innings, 1 run. I think he's kind of ready to have his first really good start in KBO. So I like him on Wednesday regardless, but you're going to get a real nice price if it's Dermody versus Suarez. So something to keep an eye on if that game gets washed out tomorrow. And should be a really good series. I think NC, this is their season on the line. They're a much better team than Samsung. They're at home. I expect them to at least get one of these 2 games.
Yeah, and with NC right around the corner, they have the Landers Thursday, Friday. They have Kiwoom Saturday, Sunday. So, if they do play 2, picking up 2 right here would be pretty huge. And, we always get on Brandon for his timely references, but a Summer Catch reference, I did not have that on my bingo card. It was like an early 2000s, though it did have prime Jessica Biel in that movie. So I will say I'll allow that one, Trig.
Brittany Murphy, right? Was Brittany Murphy in that too?
Yeah. The timely references, as always, what you're going to get out of the Asian Baseball Today crew. You want something from this century, forget about it. Brandon, let's go your way and swing it on over to Japanese baseball and talk a little Yakult Swallows taking on the Yomiuri Giants. It's the top team in Yakult. It's the second to last team in Yomiuri. How are you breaking this one down, Brandon?
Yeah, this is a game that I'm actually going to tonight. The Swallows are playing the Giants here right in the middle of Tokyo at Jingu Stadium, and
Nice.
I will be attending the game. So I brought my Yakult jersey with me. We'll be going to that game tonight with a bunch of people. I'll probably be half sheets to the wind by the time I get there, but it should be fun. So Yakult has the home run king, Murakami. He's got 53 home runs. He's chasing the record, which was set by Ballantine a couple years ago. The record, I think, is 61. So he's about 8 home runs away from the single-season home run record in Japan. He's got 53. He got beamed last night and right in the thigh. And the manager's saying they're not sure if he's going to play tonight. I guarantee he's going to play because he's chasing that record. Getting beamed in the thigh doesn't hurt. It's not like he got hit in the head or anything. So hopefully I get to see a Murakami donger tonight. But here's how I'm going to approach this series. Yakult doesn't only have Murakami. They have Santana. They have 4 guys who have more than 20 home runs. This is a potent lineup for a Japanese baseball team. They're extremely potent. They have Osuna, Santana, Shiomi. They even have Norichika Aoki, who used to play for the Texas Rangers. They got a really good lineup, and they're gonna score some runs. Now tonight, Yomiuri has their ace on the mound. His name is Sugano. I thought this guy was going to go to the major leagues about 2 or 3 years ago. He was just extremely dominant. This year, he's kind of coming back to earth. He has an 8+ ERA against the Yakult Swallows, and he has a 2+ WHIP when he plays at Yakult Stadium in Jingu. This is not an official play for me, but I think the 3.5 team total for Yakult is low, and that's how I'm going to play this whole series tonight, the next day. Yakult 3.5, that's just crazy. Yomiuri has the worst bullpen in Japanese baseball. Even though they have their ace on the mound, I think 3.5 is low for Yakult. Tonight might be a little dicey because, I don't know what to expect from Sugano. He used to be he's one of those guys who used to be a bona fide stud. So, and he gets roughed up once in a while. So you kind of don't know what to expect. But all of the peripherals point to Yakult being able to hit this guy. And 3.5 seems really low. But they're at home. I might lay off it tonight. But in the next 2 games, if you see a Yakult team total of 3.5, definitely jump on that because they've got 4 bona fide power hitters. And that's pretty rare in Japanese baseball. So that's how I'm approaching this series. I'll be at the game tonight. Hopefully Murakami can put one over the wall. I'll bring my glove.
Looking for some isolated team total overs is Tokyo Brandon, and have fun at the game, man. That's going to be awesome. And I'm sure They might even mistake you for a player because they'll see your game-worn jersey and they'll be like, oh, we need to get that guy down here. Brandon, I'm going to throw it back your way. It's best bet time. You've been teasing this one all show long. I want to remind people first, head on over to these guys' pages on wagertalk.com, and also always check out the deals pages. You never know what's going to be over there. You can find a $200 off special for Adam Trigger, and Tokyo Brandon is always running low-rate best bets, so check them out right now. 13-3 run in Asian baseball, and a free best bet for you guys right now after you remind them what you have up for $9 Monday.
So, I got a 5% play out tonight. It's a little pricey. It's a little juicy. So what I'm doing is I'm throwing in a guarantee. If you buy my 5% play for $9, if it loses, I'll give you my next one for free. I might give you a hamburger too. So that's what I got up tonight. I do have a free play loaded as well on my Wager Talk page, Tokyo Brandon's Wager Talk page. And I'm going to put some Japanese plays out after this game, but nothing going to be 5% like I got tonight in the KBO. 70%, 5% play win percentage, 60% KBO win percentage on a 3-0 run, a 6-0 run in the KBO, and a 13-3 overall run. So now that I got my spiel out of the way, I'm going to give my best bet for this. This is a 2% client play that I released to my clients about 45 minutes ago. It's in the SSG Lotte game. As I've broken down, actually, my first segment of the show and my game breakdown both kind of correlate into what I'm going to play here. I showed you at the beginning in the stats that for some reason, when Lotte and SSG get together, they're in 12 matchups, they're under 8 runs a game. And also, I told you in the second game breakdown, Wilmer Font, been an absolute stud. Adam alluded to it since he's come back from injury. He's been even more of a stud. So pretty confident he's going to hold Lotte to 1 or I don't think Lotte can get 2 runs off him in the first 5. Dan Straley has been an absolute stud since he hit the ground running after his failure to crack a major league roster. Actually, after his failure to even crack a AAA roster. But he's been great in Korea, and he's used to the place. And so, when I break down the first 5 here, I have 2 pitchers Actually, Straley's even better in the first 5 than Font is. Straley has a 1.17 ERA in the first 5 innings. Font has a 2.18. Neither team hits more than 3, averages more than 3 runs in the first 5. And when I looked at the first 5 total, it was 4.5. 4.5 in the first 5 for a game total of 8 seems way too high. So I put a 2% play on the under 4.5 in the first 5 innings. That's my best bet for this. 2 great pitchers, one team that's not hitting really well. So basically this bet depends on if Dan Straley gets roughed up or not. And I don't think he does. He might give up 2 or 3, but 2 or 3 is not enough to kill my bet. So that's my best bet. The SSG Lotte game, first 5 innings, under 4.5.
Looking at the under, and head on over to Tokyo Brandon's page. Get his 5% play right now. He guarantees it'll win, and if it doesn't win, he guarantees you'll get his other 5% for free. So
I've never guaranteed a win in my life. I won't guarantee a win.
It was sounding somewhat like, okay, I won't say you guaranteed. You felt very good and strong about it. All right, I got you, Brandon. I won't throw you under the bus.
I guarantee I'll give you a free one if it loses. That's what I guarantee.
You can guarantee. All right. I guarantee that you'll have a great time out there at the Yakult Swallows game. Hope you have a fun time. So, Trig, let's get to your best bet here. A 9-1 overall run. Just cashed 5%er in football. You got a 4%er up right now on $9 Monday. Anything else you got rocking, and what can people get? And, of course, what's your free play for today?
Yeah, my favorite KBO play is the 4%er. That's up on my page for $9. It goes in the morning. NFL had a great weekend, 6-1 this past weekend, and you can get $200 off my entire season up now on the deals page at wagertalk.com. Listen, my best bet here is the KT Wiz, and, I almost got caught with my hand in the cookie jar over the weekend because I went against them after I said I absolutely would not, but it ended up being actually an easy win, 5-0 Kiwoom. But I was worried about going against KT because of how much I've talked them up on this show. It was just a terrible spot for KT, but this is a great spot for KT. And I'll start, before I get into the breakdown of my best bet, I'm just going to start by saying if you can't stomach the -190 juice, just parlay it with SSG, a game I talked about earlier in the show. I think that's a pretty good bet as well. KT SSG parlay. It's going to be probably better than even money. But as far as KT Wiz are concerned here, they play the Hanwha Eagles, and we've kind of, beat this to death. This is the worst team in the league. Sometimes they do show up, but I think they're going to have a hard time here. They're going to go with Minji Jang. Listen, he's 32 years old. He's had a great season, probably one of the better sort of seasons of his career. But he is approaching his innings record. He's probably going to surpass his career high for innings this year, and he has looked quite fatigued the last couple times out. Nine earned runs in 7 innings pitched the last 2 times out. And this KT lineup, I don't think they're gonna miss this against this guy today. Sangbak has been an awesome story in his own respect. This guy has really had a couple tough seasons, a lot of injury, wasn't in the KBO at all in 2020, barely pitched in KBO last year. So to see him sort of flourish as a starter, KT kind of moved him into the starting rotation out of necessity, but he's been great. And he's got a 3.23 ERA, 1.26 whip, and he's 8-2 this year. So he's really kind of had a breakout season out of nowhere for KT. I don't think anyone really saw that kind of season coming for him. And I think he's a little undervalued because of it. As I've said ad nauseum on this show, I think KT is the 3rd best team in the league. I think they will overtake Kiwoom eventually. Han was in dead last. They're going to finish dead last. And this is a scenario where -190, it probably should be more like -300. I love the KT Wiz in this spot. If you don't want to lay the juice, parlay it with SSG and get a little money line parlay. But, both of those. KT, I'll make my best bet 1A and SSG 1B. I think both get it done on Tuesday.
1A and 1B. So he mentioned it earlier in the show, the SSG Landers and the KT Wiz, the official best bet. And it doesn't count as me being muted because the graphic was still up there. So nobody knew that I was muted right there. It was just us. So I still got away with it. At least I wasn't on the screen like a ventriloquist. So, guys, that's going to do it for us. Reminder, KT Wiz minus 185, the free play for Trig, and Brandon going with the under 4.5 in the first 5 in SSG Lotte. Trig also liking that SSG game. You can hop in the comments, let us know what you're thinking, what you're going to be betting in KBO action, and also want to remind you we have no show coming up this Thursday. We're going to be switching to a Monday preview, so if there's more stuff you want to hear more of, less of, can't guarantee that there will be any less ball busting. That's just never going to change here on Asian Baseball Today. But hop in the comments and let us know what you want to hear here as we're cutting down to just one show a week. But that's going to do it for us. For Trig, for Tokyo Brandon, I'm Dan Alexander, and we'll see you in a week's time here on Asian Baseball Today.
Ready to take your favorite Wager Talk handicappers wherever you travel this football season? The Wager Talk TV app is now live for phones, tablets, smart TVs, and streaming platforms. Tune into your favorite shows like Wager Talk Today, Bet on It, and the Opening Line Report. Plus, browse through our extensive library of sports betting tips. Create your personal playlist of betting tip videos to help you prepare for the upcoming season, and set notifications to alert you when new content is added. Download the app for Apple, Android, Amazon, and Roku devices by searching for Wager Talk TV, or scan the QR code on your screen to join the winning conversation today.